Namaskar. Today we will study the drug lubiprostone, a laxative drug, and more commonly it is known as the chloride channel 2 activator, CLC2, the chloride channel type 2, or chloride channel protein 2, or the voltage gated chloride channel 2. So more commonly lubiprostone is known as the CLC2 activator, and it is located on the apical side of the gastrointestinal epithelial cells. So if you see this gastrointestinal epithelial cell, this is the chloride type 2 channel, and this is CFTR, cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator, CFTR, and this is the guanylate cyclase C receptor. So lubiprostone activates CLC2 channel, but recent research also shows that lubiprostone is not only selective to CLC2, it is a non-selective chloride channel activator, and it also opens the chloride channels associated with CFTR, cystic fibrosis transmembrane regulator. So this is the epithelial cell, gastrointestinal epithelial cell, and this is the apical membrane. This is the apical membrane towards the gastrointestinal lumen, and the other side is the basolateral membrane. So lubiprostone, since it is an analog of prostaglandin E1, so lubiprostone acts on the receptors of prostaglandin E. Prostaglandin E receptors are called as EP4, EP receptors, which may be of 4 types: EP1, EP2, EP3, and EP4, and these are all the G protein coupled receptors. And EP4, lubiprostone is an agonist of the EP4 receptor, prostanoid receptor, EP4, which is linked, which is a G protein coupled receptor linked to adenylate cyclase. So lubiprostone acts as agonist of EP4 receptor, activates adenylate cyclase, and produces cyclic AMP. And that cyclic AMP acts as a second messenger to open the type 2 chloride channel and the CFTR associated chloride channel. So you can see the lubiprostone acts as agonist on the EP4 receptor, and EP4 receptor is a G protein coupled receptor associated with adenylate cyclase, so increase the production of cyclic AMP, and the cyclic AMP acts as the second messenger and activates the chloride channels and increase the chloride concentration in the lumen. So this is the apical side, apical membrane, and this is the basolateral membrane or abluminal membrane. And because of chloride, increase in chloride concentration, which is an anion, there will also be flow of sodium, the positive charge, and there will also be flow of an isosmotic equivalent of water. So let us discuss that. So This results in promotes secretion of chloride-rich fluid, which increases the bulk of the gastrointestinal content and hence increases peristalsis and also soften the stool, shows laxative action. So let us discuss in detail. Lubiprostone is a bicyclic fatty acid derivative of prostaglandin E1. So it acts on the prostaglandin E receptor, EP4 prostanoid receptor, which is a G protein coupled receptor, and increases the intracellular cyclic AMP, because this G protein coupled receptor, the effector is adenylate cyclase, so it produces cyclic AMP, which is the second messenger, and this activates the cyclic AMP gated ion channels non-selectively. So initially lubiprostone was said to be activator of only the CLC2, but now research says that it is a non-selective activator of CMP gated ion channels. So it opens the chloride channel protein 2, CLC2, and also it activates the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator, CFTR, which is associated with movement of two anions, chloride and bicarbonate. You can see here chloride and bicarbonate, CFTR. And cystic fibrosis transmembrane regulator, why we call it as cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator? Because the mutation of this gene impairs the function of CFTR, so there will be no chloride and bicarbonate secretion. So there will be no secretion of water, and there will be mainly in the secretory tissues, the like reproductive tract, gastrointestinal tract, bronchial tract. So there will be thick mucus, no watery mucus, so thick mucus will be there. So it will clog the airways mainly, and that condition is called cystic fibrosis. So that's why it is named so, like cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator. So because of this, there will be efflux of chloride ions into the lumen, and both by CLC2 and CFTR, and that results in efflux of sodium ions through a paracellular pathway to maintain isoelectric neutrality. Since it is a negative ion, so positive sodium ions will move to maintain the isoelectric neutrality, and when the sodium and chloride concentration increases outside in the lumen, and the cell membrane of the epithelial cell acts as a semi-permeable membrane. So we know to maintain the equilibrium, there will be induction of osmosis, in which the flow of solvent, that is water, from low concentration to high concentration. So here there is high concentration of sodium and chloride. So from low concentration to high concentration, there will be flow of solvent through the semi-permeable membrane to maintain the equilibrium. So that is called osmosis. So induces osmosis. So isoosmotic equivalent of water is secreted into the lumen. That means the intestinal fluid secretion increases, and that softens the stool. And also because of increased water secretion into the lumen, the GI bulk water content also increases, and that induces the peristalsis, so the GI motility increases. So this improves the constipation and by showing the laxative action. So we can use lubiprostone in chronic idiopathic constipation and irritable bowel syndrome with constipation dominant IBS-C, and also can be used in opioid-induced constipation. And these drugs are used, lubiprostone used twice daily and orally in the form of capsule. So in case of chronic idiopathic constipation and opioid induced constipation, we can use the higher dose 24 microgram per oral. And in case of irritable bowel syndrome, constipation dominant, the lower dose, that is 8 microgram twice daily, and mainly this is indicated in adult women above 18 years of age. So this is all about lubiprostone. Thank you.